touch the sky.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys, I feel like tonight is the night I need to talk to you about, well, first off, happy Pride, right? Yeah, I get to say that. What is it? Oh, I get to do my introduction. Where are my lovely lesbians at? Where are my lovely lesbians? Anybody?
Laugh count?
Okay. How about my gorgeous gays? Where are my gorgeous gays at? Well, okay. Beautiful bisexual babes. Yeah. Cute queers. Yeah, I was gonna say queer queens, but like, fuck the matriarch, fuck all systems. Right? Like, I'm like a fucking, I love RuPaul's Drag Race. I love RuPaul's Drag Race, but I don't believe in, like I said, like, institutions of power that prioritize, like, some people over another. We'll get into this whole shit when I tell you about my first lesbian experience, but, you know, I don't want, like, drag queens. I want drag, like, revolutionaries. Like, I want drag anarchists. Like, I want drag fucking shit up, because today I just don't feel like bedazzling, you know? Like, I just want to be like, my mom gave me these overalls and I really like them, so, you know, I'm going to wear them. And my sister gave me Birkenstocks and I fit a stereotype and I love it. I look like an art teacher. I'm not that successful though, don't worry. I'm poor. Okay, so back to how I'm a drag anarchist. It's fucking great. I do my thing. So, okay, cute queers. Got cute queers. We got, where are my awesome asexuals? Like, that's some enlightened people. I know you all are out there. Like, there's some people out there, right? My fucking awesome asexuals. I got my, like, okay, yeah, fuck yeah. Okay, what about my, like, I'm bad with I words, because, like, I get distracted and I just think about ice cream a lot. So I was like, oh, every time I'm like, oh, where am I, like, I want to say, like, awesome intersex, but that's too, but I'm going to be like, ice cream intersex, and I'm like, I don't know if that's right, but I, like, fucking love it, so I'm going to make it work. Because, like, there's not a lot of representation out there for a lot of diversity, you know, so we try, and sometimes fail. But if we, you know, we do our thing. Oh, where are my allies at? Yeah. Yeah, we got some? Okay, yeah, try harder, but we're working on it. We're working on it. Yeah, and that's how I give myself extra time. So about my first lesbian experience. It was in a library, you guys.
Nice.
Yeah. The librarian was named Mrs. McIntosh.
Yeah.
And it was in 4th grade. Actually, that's not true, it was in 3rd grade. Because here's the thing, I'm weird, so I was in like a 3rd, 4th grade split, because they thought, I got nominated, okay, I was the first kid at Hague Elementary to request peer mediation to resolve conflicts. Because I thought that we could work it out together, and we didn't need those lunch ladies to be there necessarily for the conversation, but also this other kid was like super shady and kind of a bully, this 4th grader. He was, man, you know, like, I can make fun of my red hair, you can't make fun of my red hair, and you sure as shit can't make fun of my friend with big ears, because that's like our inside joke, you know? And this little shit came up there, and I was like, I know the rules, I read them, and I know the dress code. So, because like, that's how I got away with wearing shorts all the time. So it was Miss McIntosh in the library, and like my first lesbian experience. It was real intense, you guys. Like, it was in like the non-fiction section of the library, you know? And I was browsing those stacks, because, like, I was real special. I was not so special. I wasn't smart and lucky, because here's the deal. I was smart. I was, like, classified as gifted, which meant that I was really set up for a lot of mental health issues down the line. Yeah, where are my gifted kids at? Who got tested? Oh, we get them out. But, like, I love filling in bubbles, and I'm so good at it, because it turned out I got, like, light OCD. So, like, I got that shit down. I colored that in. So, like, I tested into the gifted program, but our gifted program at Hague Elementary, because, you know, we were, like, trying to be special, but it was the 90s, and we were on, like, the downturn of, like, the economic side of this shit. So, like, they cut the gifted program down to, like, 10, and I didn't get that lottery. Yeah, I was not. So, like, my teacher was like, you get bored a lot in class, so I'm going to send you to the library. And I was like, yeah. So I was in, like, the nonfiction section of the library. And I don't know about you guys, but, like, I was really into the Titanic. You know? I was, like, super into the Titanic. So I read, like, all the books on Titanic. You know what's really fucking traumatizing for a fucking 8-year-old? The Titanic! Do you know how many children died on the Titanic? And they classified those children by wealth, according to who got to live and who got to die. But still, like, you're just, like, reading this and you're like, okay, where do I fall on the Titanic? And I was like, moderately middle class. So I'm in, like, above steerage. But there's still not a ton of hope, because it turns out, what I figured out about the Titanic at a very young age was that men designed it. So this is where I come back to that lesbian moment. So behind it. And here's the thing. Some of the men decided that there needed to be a lot of lifeboats because calculating out how many lifeboats you need, you got like space for like 8 people and there's so many numbers on the Titanic. I didn't memorize that part. I cared about the people. So there were like so many people and they categorized that and they said like, here's how many lifeboats you need, right? Stacks of lifeboats. And they're like, yeah, but that's gonna fuck up the aesthetics. So let's do like a quarter of them. Because the Titanic's not gonna sink. We got this shit covered. I'm sure this is not something that anyone heard before 19 whatever. Because again, I didn't give a shit about the dates. I cared about the people. And I weirdly identified with the passage side of things because I think, again, I was a lesbian, so I knew that like my economic high point was going to be at like high school when I lived with my parents and occasionally, sorry mom, again, like may have stole some 20s from her wallet, but I had a lot of feelings and I didn't have a big allowance and I didn't have a lot of gay friends, so I read a lot of books and watched TV and bought CDs. And oddly enough, none of those CDs were the Indigo Girls. But it turns out I was also like weird and kind of like a punk thing, but also like in the sense that, I mean, we can get into that story a different time, but I got the light. So like basically I'm telling you that like my first lesbian experience was the realization that men decided that we would be fine on this lifeboat. Like nothing wrong could happen. And then we're just like, we're gonna cut corners, and then we're gonna just like take out some of these boats. And then you know what ends up happening when they like, I figured this one out when I watched the movie. That's apparently a 2-parter on VHS, and I wasn't actually into it, but I kept watching because I had kind of OCD and have to finish things. So I watched this thing, and I was like, man, I should be super into it about Kate Winslet, but I can't stop getting distracted by the fact that, like, I just kept seeing these, like, white men just pushing their way through and being, like, grabbing babies and hopping onto boats. And I was like, man, this feels like something I need to remember for the future. Then I came out like, 7 years later or something, and it was surprised only my mother. But, I mean, she tried to put me in dresses for a real long time. And that's when I started asking for overalls. And we made a compromise on culottes. So, again, like, thank you for appreciating me up here, and have a good night.
All right,